what I teach you to do is batch it. You'll see a time block schedule here in a little bit, but every morning at 8:30, I check my voicemail, check my email, return any calls, prioritize my schedule. I do that again at noon because things happen, and I do that again in the afternoon. I'm not in my email 24/7, okay? That's what we mean by batching it. Batch your workload, time block it. We're going to talk about that today. So these are some real keys to helping yourself with work-life balance. Now, it's going to be really hard for you to own your time until you know what it's worth, okay? So we're going to do this quick scenario. You can take your cell phone out, or if you're writing, you can write this down, but we're going to figure out what you're worth per hour. So technically, our taxes would be due in 10 days, right? April 15th, but we got a little extension this year. So those of you that made all that money that you're going to have all those taxes, you got a little more time to get a few more deals in the bank. But we're going to figure out what your time is worth. So I want you to take your taxable income, whatever that number is, taxable income, okay? Now let me talk about something really quickly. When I said we teach financial accumulation of wealth at the core, the reason we do that is because a lot of realtors don't understand the difference in GCI and taxable income, okay? So let me help you. GCI is crap. Can we all agree GCI doesn't mean anything? It ain't what you bring home, it's what you keep, right? So GCI is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about gross commissions minus what you spent to get your taxable income. So you can do some rough estimates. I'm going to do easy math. $120,000, let's say, was my net income. That's about $10,000 a month. So we're going to take the net income for the year divided by the month. So I've got my $10,000. Okay. Then we're going to divide that by 40-hour work weeks. That's 52 weeks in a year. That's going to tell you what your time is worth per hour. So the next time that somebody comes in your office and says, oh, that dirty dog realtor did blah, 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 you're going to be like, oh, I'm worth $100 an hour. I got to keep moving. Oh, I don't have time to gossip. Oh, that client doesn't make me enough money. I got to drop them, right? Now you're going to know what your time is worth. So you spend more time doing the things that are HVAs, high value activities. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys make a lot of money. We all do. Not that we don't earn it in our industry, but you got to know what you're worth. So you allow people to get out of your life that are sucking you dry or that are costing you money. Because if you have a client that's costing you $250 an hour, and you're only making $100 an hour, that math doesn't work. We wouldn't do that at Apple. We wouldn't do that at Tesla. Why would you do that in your business? Okay. So it's really important that you know what you're worth per hour before you allow somebody else to take advantage of your time. Fair enough? All right. So let's jump in. I'm going to give you some tips for time management. And I'm going to dig into some of these. If you have questions along the way, the group's small enough, stop and ask me. Okay. And I will definitely leave time at the end too, but feel free to ask me now while we're in the middle of it. The time management starts with a start time and a go home time, okay? The biggest issue with real estate agents, all of us included, myself included, I'll share a story with you here in just a second, but is nobody tells us what time to go to home. Nobody tells us what time to go to the office. Nobody tells us what time to go to bed. Nobody tells us what time to clock in or clock out. So we abuse our time. Now my husband's sitting in the back of the room because as soon as we get done, we're getting on the interstate driving back to North Carolina tonight. And true story, in 2004, I was working about 100 hours a week, let's say 80, okay? And I couldn't get it all done. So I would come home, and I'd say, now this is back in the fax machine days. For those of you that are new, you're like, what's a fax machine? But there were fax machines at this point in time. And I would tell my husband, I'm going to run into the office, and I'm going to fax an offer. I'll be right back. 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I would walk out and everybody was in bed. The lights were out. They'd given up on me. So this went on for a while. So my husband had to sit down. And he said, hey, this is going to work. You need to move that computer out of this house. Okay. So I loaded up my computer and I took it to the office. So I was at the Crye building on Sam Ridley Parkway, if you know where that is. Had this nice big office, so I set it all up, and I would work till 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and I would go home. But I couldn't get it all done. So I would come in, we would eat dinner, we would bathe our son, we'd lay down in bed, and then when he'd start snoring, I'd get up out of bed, and I'd go back to the office. And I'd work till 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. And we had sold every police officer in Smyrna a house, so they would come by the office, My witness is sitting in the front row here. And they would come by and they would shine the light on. I'd give them a thumbs up in my pajamas. And then they would go on home. So we had a police officer who lived about 3 doors up the street from us. And this went on for months. And what I would do is I would park my car in the garage when I came home at 5:30 or 6, so he wouldn't hear the garage door go up. And I would turn the timer off on the security system, so that would wake him up. And so I would sneak out the back door, get in my car, go to the office, sneak back in, lay down, sleep for a couple hours, get through it all over again. So our neighbor 3 doors down tells my husband, who's a police officer, says, gosh, your wife works a lot of hours. And he said, really? Do tell. Well, needless to say, Kendra got busted. And so we had to come to Jesus, and he just said, hey, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to fall asleep behind the wheel, and you're going to, leave me alone with a child. Or somebody's going to abduct you coming out of an office building at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You need to fix it. And by the grace of God, I found the core. And the very first class I went to, the guy standing at the front is Jim Reed, who a lot of people in this room know. And he said, you know what? Time management, I can fix you. It's really easy. You put some bumpers up, you figure out what your time's worth, but it really starts with a start time and a go home time. And realtors are the worst because we don't have a boss. And he said, if you don't fix it, you're going to ruin every relationship you have. And he was right. I was like, okay, I heard you loud and clear. So that's how I found the core. So everything that I talk about today is nothing I created, but it is a system that I followed for many, many years. I did save our marriage. We're celebrating 25 years. We're headed to St. Lucia next year. So we were able to save our marriage. And so everything I share with you today is probably nothing you've not heard before. But if you can just take 1 or 2 things and fix any struggling relationship or even health issue that you have, take it. It's for yours to have today. All right. So start time and a go home time. Your schedule should show you every day I'm going to report to work at this day, this time. Now, this time could be different every day. You're the boss. The biggest issue we have in real estate is we don't have a boss, but also 1099. Our 1099 gets us in a lot of trouble because nobody says, come to work today. Nobody says it's time to go home. Nobody says turn the lights off. And the unfortunate part is our founding mothers and fathers real estate said, hey, we're 24/7. We can work anytime. We've got a car. We've got a phone. We've got a pager. We got a beeper. We got whatever for the last 50 years. And they set us up to fail, right? Because they did not say, hey, you can have a life. And the truth of the matter is we are not saving lives. We're just selling houses. Now, most of our clients think it's life or death, right? But you have to go back and reevaluate, why did I get into real estate? What is my true position in the real estate transaction? Number one is when the bank is closed, Chris and Clint and his group, you ain't getting their money, right? So why are we killing ourselves working at 11, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night trying to take care of something when we don't have the control of the money, right? So think about that. Go back and reposition. Why did I start? What's my purpose in this transaction? I don't need to work 24/7. Some boundaries. So it starts with a start time and a go home time. That should be on your schedule, okay? The last thing I'll say about that is when you tell your family you're going to be home at 5 and you pull in at 5:15, you just said, my time's more important than yours. It's all about me. It creates this in your household. So you got to make sure that you're taking care of the people who take care of you. Because, guys, this market is not going to be here forever, but our family hopefully will be, right? So you got to make sure you're taking care of the people that are going to take care of you in the good times and the bad. All right. We all carry a cell phone. It is the texting part is the spawn of the devil, in my opinion. It created a 24/7 atmosphere for most of us. But your cell phone allows you to swipe right or swipe left. So when it pops up and says, hey, it's time to go home, you go, I'll go in 15 minutes. I'll make one more call. The printed schedule is really your accountability partner when you don't have an accountability partner, okay? So I'm a taskmaster. I already said that, checklist girl. So I print my schedule every day, okay? So on Monday, I print it for the week. And what I'm looking for in your schedule is this white space. This is bad. Because this is where we get sidetracked. We're hanging out with people, probably talking trash, probably not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then we get down here and it's time to come, and what do we got to do? Oh, I got to send one more email. I got to post CMA. I got to get ready for my day tomorrow. So what I want you to think about is having a time block schedule. Every block of your day is color coded and scheduled. Okay. So power hour, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Appointments. You can just put appointments and have it blocked. And as you make appointments, you slide them in those blocks. Does that make sense to everybody? So you're on task all day long. Okay. Because if you don't have a plan, what happens? This would be like getting in your car with no navigation system, no cell phone, no map, no hotel reservations, no airplane tickets. You're like, we're on vacation. Everybody looks at you guys and go, where are we going? Right? So this is your plan. Okay. I want you to print it every day. When you really want to manage your time and your attitude and a lot of other things we talked about, as you complete a box, you check it off. At the end of the day, when you look at the last thing and it says go home at 5:30, you're like, hey, that's my box, I'm checking it off, I'm going home. Then you will have mastered your time block schedule. Okay. Now, I'm not stupid enough to think we can adhere to it 100% of the time. Okay. We have a lot of outside forces controlling our time. Our clients, appraisers, inspectors, I get all that. But if you at least have some kind of consistency every single day to get things that you have to do, and then you fill those boxes in with the things that you need to do, it gives you a little more purpose and balance. Okay, so you're not running with your hair on fire every day. Now, I play a game with myself. If you I actually do have a time block schedule on my schedule in my purse, but I play a game with myself. So all my blocks are different colors based on what I'm doing. Okay. So when I talk about power hour or appointments, they're green because when do we get paid? Where do we get paid? On the phone or belly to belly, right? So any appointments or power hours are going to be green. All right. My personal favorite color is purple. So my personal time's on there. Actually, I have a nail appointment tomorrow night at 5:30, so it's black and it's purple. And at 5:30, when I leave my office, I go get my nails done. It's just a game I play with myself. Okay. So I can feel a sense of accomplishment. I can check it off. The other purpose of that is I can look at it and see what my day looks like tomorrow. If I'm showing farms, I'm probably not going to be dressed like this. All right. So you need to be ready for your day before you head out. All right. So you're going to print it the night before. You're going to put it on your desk or in your binder or wherever you're going to be in your car. And then you know where you're going the next day. All right. Next, this one always gets all realtors because we think if we don't grab the phone when it rings, they're going to call somebody else, right? We're all that way. We're all wired the same way. Let me help you with that. This goes back to the mindset and the positive attitude, okay? In the core, we teach systems and structure every single day to keep those leads coming in, keep that pipeline going, help you set your goals and reach those goals every single month pretty consistently, okay? What happens is we don't follow the schedule, we don't follow the plan, the systems and structure, and our mind goes into that scarcity mindset, okay? If I don't grab the phone every time it rings, they're gonna call somebody else. That's scarcity, right? So you're always chasing business instead of attracting it, okay? Let me reset your mind. If you were coming from a place of abundance, hey, I prospect every single day. I follow this plan, that plan, whatever your plan is that you're following right now, your mindset goes to, you know what? I'm following a system. It's going to create enough leads for me to generate the business that I want to hit the goals I want. You guys see the difference? So scarcity, you're constantly chasing. Abundance, you're doing what it takes for the business to be attracted to come back to you. Okay? Now, there's 3 reasons people don't refer us. Anybody want to take a stab at what the first one is? Think you're too busy. Okay. What else? Why else don't people refer us? Forget about us. Okay. What else? Why don't people refer you guys? Or why do you think they don't refer you? Oh, number 1 answer. We don't ask. Don't want that. Let me help you. You're desperate. You got bills to pay, mouths to feed, cars to drive, house payments. Are we not desperate, folks? This is why we're in the business, to get paid, right? So we don't want to ask people for referral. Number 2, they don't know how. They don't know how to refer you, right? So you have to think probably 50+% of your clients don't run a referral-based business. They don't know how to refer, right? So we have to educate them where to find us a referral, how to ask, okay? The number 3 reason people don't refer you is they weren't wowed through the experience. They don't want to refer a friend or family and for them to have a bad experience. Okay? So we've got to put systems and structure around those 3 things. We got to ask every client for their help. Now, that doesn't mean commission breath. That, if you know anything about me, that is not who I am, okay? But I'm going to say, I need your help. My business thrives on referrals. Who do you know that may buy or sell? Do you have a friend or family you might could refer me to that needs to purchase in the next 6 months? Those are soft asks, right? That's not in your face driving somebody crazy for business, okay? Number two, they may say, when you say that, I don't even know anybody that's going to buy or sell. Say, great, let me help you. Do your kids still play ball? Your kids still play soccer or lacrosse or whatever? If you're in relationship with your clients, you know what they do, right? Or where they work, or you should, right? Or you're not in relationship with them. So if I know somebody has kids that play ball, I'll just give them this information. Hey, I know your kids still play ball. So when you're at the ball field, you may hear somebody say, hey, my parents want to be closer to the kids. Or my parents are considering a relocation into town or out of town. My husband's up for a promotion. We may be moving, but don't tell our kids, right? Those are the kind of places you might find somebody that I could help. Fair enough? They go, perfect. I educated them on how to refer me and where to find those leads. Does that make sense? Okay. The third thing is wowing them. Okay. If every time you turn around, you're dropping the ball on a transaction with somebody, they're not going to feel comfortable enough to refer you. Okay. Now, what does that look like? Systems and structure, checklists that you follow to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. Now, this market is crazy. I have people in 37 states around the country, and every market is crazy. So how do you fix that? You set better expectations. Okay. So this purchasing time right now may not be the experience they were looking for, but it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault that they lost 5 houses. But if you set the expectation that, hey, it's going to be a little bumpy. This is a rough market. We may write 5 offers, we may write 10, but I'm not going anywhere. I am with you. I will communicate with you, and I will take great care of you. They go, okay. You guys have to make sure that you're giving them a wow experience, but setting better expectations, right? When the market wasn't like this, we would say, hey, we're going to find you a house, no problem. We had hundreds to choose from, right? Now we got one house, and everybody in this room wants one buyer to get in one house, right? So you're going to tick off the buyers. You're going to tick off the buyer's agent if you're the listing agent. You're going to tick off the listing agent if you're the buyer's agent. It's a hard winning situation right now. This market is hard. So better expectations, setting clear expectations of what that looks like and how you can help them achieve it is the key to wowing that client through the experience so they will refer you. Does that make sense? So when you think about a referral-based business, that's the abundance mindset, okay? I'm going to take care of every client. I'm going to ask every client. I'm going to have systems and structure in place to get those referrals. The scarcity mindset is I answer my phone at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning, and your family is getting what's left of you versus what's the best of you. Does that make sense? So that's just a little extra lesson now, but that's the market we're in, right? We have got to do a better job of setting better expectations so these people don't think it's our fault, right? All right. So daily callback times on your voicemail is critical. Critical, okay? Because if all you're going to do is answer your phone every single time it rings, you will never get anything done, right? Especially if you're a listing agent right now, all right? If you carry 5, 10, 15 listings, which is a lot in this market because they sell so fast, your phone's going to be ringing nonstop. My suggestion for you, I did it for 20 years in the business, is every morning record your message. It's a current message, okay? Hi, today is Monday, April 5th. This is Kendra Cooke with Cooke Realty Partners. I'm so sorry I missed your call. It's extremely important to me. If you're calling about 123 ABC Street, it does have a contract we're accepting backup. If you're calling about one of my other listings, if you leave a message, I promise I'm returning calls between 1 and 2, and again between 5 and 6. If it's an urgent need, text me, right? That's a voicemail you could leave every day, all right? If you're educating the other agents or the clients on the other end, what are we doing? Better expectations, right? So you can manage your time better. Change your voicemail every day, all right? Organization, time suck. Disorganization is the biggest time suck of our lives, okay? If you're disorganized, ladies, this is my closet. Sometimes I walk in, there's all my piles of shoes in the floor, and I'm like, oh, now I need to find the blue shoe and the black shoe, and I can only find one blue shoe. I can't find the black shoe. I'm on my hands and knees. It's not pretty, okay? It's not pretty. So if that's your closet, go home, set aside an hour in your schedule, clean your closet, and get yourself organized. Your car, and this one cracks me up. We always tell our clients, clean this, organize that, take everything off the refrigerator, clean this closet, and then you got to pick them up for a shine, and they got to move the Chick-fil-A bag to the Starbucks cup to get in your front seat. I mean, it's the truth, right? We live in our cars, so it's a mess. So that old do as I say, not as I do, little motto, car got to be clean, okay? If you are somebody who hauls people around or in your new construction a lot, take an hour a week and have somebody come to your office and clean your car. It's $45. Listen, if you don't have time to go to the car wash while you're sitting in there running comp, have somebody come and clean your car at the office. It's not a big deal. But when somebody gets in, we appreciate that. We moved to Charlotte and bought a house. We wouldn't even get in the car with the realtor. We're like, we'll just drive, The last one is your office workspace. The internet, the cloud, all the DocuSign things that we all have now, Authentisign, all those things have created really a lot of good systems. But some of us are hoarders of paper. And so, you walk into your office and there's just piles of folders sitting everywhere, and you're like, gosh, I know exactly where everything is in this pile. We might or we might not, but it doesn't look really appealing, right? So if your office is disorganized, same thing. If you can scan those things, get them out of there. I mean, thank God for all the, electronic signature stuff. It has created a lot of less chaos. I know at our attic held thousands of files and we had to keep them for 7 years. So organization goes a long way when we're talking about time management. All right, team meeting. Every single day, you have to have a team meeting, even if it's by yourself, okay? This was a game changer for me in a lot of ways, in that who's on first, right? What does my schedule look like? So, true story. If you know my market, was Smyrna and Murfreesboro primarily, and I only sold $1 million house in my whole life. Okay, but the first appointment that I got to go on $1 million listing was a crap show, and that's when I realized this was more important than I ever really admitted. But it was afternoon, and my assistant had pulled the comp, and this is when I was in the Bob Parks office in Brentwood, and I was going to look over them at 5, and the listing was at 6. I had plenty of time, and I realized that she hadn't printed the proper comp, and she was gone and everybody was gone. And so I go in to print the comps, and I print them and I send them to the copier down the hallway. So I run down the hallway to grab them and nothing comes out. I'm like, I probably didn't hit the button. She's laughing because she knows exactly what I'm about to say. So I run back down. I'm like, oh, wait. And of course I have the very last office on this long, never ending hallway. So I run back down. I hit the button again. I run back down. There's nothing. I'm like, what the crap? So I run back down. I'm like, I'm sure I did this right. Well, when I get back down there, there's an ink outage on the copier, and everything's blocked. There's no receptionist at 5:15 in our offices. I have no other printer in the office. That's the only one my code works on. And so needless to say, I got to walk in with my iPad, and I'm trying to turn my iPad around. I'm trying to look over. I'm trying to read. It was a disaster. People always ask me, did you get the listing? No, I did not. It was a mess. So what I realized is I need to be prepared for my whole day before the day even starts. So that printed schedule that we talked about a few minutes ago, that is printed on my desk every night before I leave. And when I come in the morning, in my schedule, I told you guys at 8:30, it says check voicemail, check email, get ready for your day. You pulled out my phone, that's exactly what it says. Monday through Thursday, I only work 4 days a week now. But Monday through Thursday, that's what it says. Okay, check your voicemail, check your email, get ready for your day. So getting ready for my day is my team meeting, okay? And that is me looking at the schedule saying, do I have everything I need to accomplish everything on my schedule for the day? So for those of you as realtors, are the proper comps in my listing paperwork? What time is my cutoff for this offer that's coming in? Do I need to get a closing gift to go to the closing at 4 o'clock? I mean, you need to be prepared for the day. And the only way you're going to do that is to have a meeting with yourself or your team, okay? If you have a team member, it looks like, hey, who's on first? This lead came in. I need to get them to the lender. Can somebody call about the HUD statement, or closing document, blah, 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 right? So you're delegating and prioritizing everybody's day. And then you can go about your day. What happens is when we don't have those meetings, if you have a team, all day long, it's, hey, I got a question. Hey, can I ask you a question? Hey, what about this? And it's interruption after interruption after interruption. And then we get down there to that 5 o'clock hour and we're like, well, crap, I didn't get anything done today. So let me go do my work now that everybody's gone. Shouldn't be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, right? So the team meeting is preparing yourself or your team for the entire day. Do I have everything I need to get through my day and get out of here on my go home time? That's what the team meeting is about. Don't skip that step. It's 15 minutes. Who's on first? Who's got what? Delegate it and then get out. Okay? All right. This says power hour. Power hour. The most crucial thing we as realtors have to do on a daily basis. What cracks me up about myself when I started and then other people in this industry is we never know where our leads come from. Oh, they just come in. So when I got in the Corps 15 years ago, working 80 hours a week, they said, where do your leads come from? I'm like, I don't know, they just come. They're like, well, how do you keep up? I'm like, sticky notes, man, I got pink pad, yellow pad, green pad. I'm so organized. I'm so proud of myself. It doesn't work, okay? So the power hour is how you generate leads. That's your lead generation tool, okay? And most of us don't do it. Why don't we do a power hour? What's the reasons you guys don't do a power hour? Fear, okay? Why else do we not do a power hour? Distractions. Why else?
Don't know how.
Don't know how. Very good. What else? Unprepared. Who to call, what to say. Oh, you guys are just feeding right into my presentation. I love it. What else? How about it's not time blocked? So we don't think about it. Okay? So let me help you with that. I'm going to do this little assembly line analogies. Anybody ever been in the Nissan plant and Smyrna and toured that thing? It is so cool. You haven't. Your kids get to go do a field trip? Go. It's one of the coolest places you'll ever go. So this happened to me probably 10, 12 years ago when our son was smaller and his school went on a field trip. So I went to chaperone and we get in this little buggy and they're driving us around. We got this little headset on and it's telling us everything that happens. I'm like, this is like real estate. Like this was a cool analogy of how real estate works. So I started thinking about it. I thought I could use this in a presentation. So each stop, we learned that something else happened, right? That this step had to happen before this step happened, and this step has to happen before that step. And it was a system that followed. And at the end of the day, this car spits out on the back end of this assembly line. I'm like, brilliant, really cool. So let me give you the real estate analogy. We're going to have 3 stops on our assembly line, okay? The first one is product. If you are not doing a power hour every day, where does the product come from? So the product is listing appointments, pre-approved buyers, referrals, open houses. This is product. I've got to generate business to put it on the assembly line, or the assembly line is just running with nothing on it, right? And we know the assembly line never stops. Got 2 weeks in the summer and 2 weeks in the winter when Nissan shuts down, those assembly lines go all the time, right? So I'm putting the product on the assembly line, and then I go down to stop number 2. This is service, okay? This is where your inspection happens, the appraiser gets in, we negotiate the repairs, all these pieces and parts. And remember, there's like 30 people that touch a file. So all of that's happening right here, okay? Service, service, service. And then I come down to the end, step over it, I'm in stop number 3. And this is closing. This is where we're like, oh, I got paid, I'm super agent, I showed up at the closing, got my S on my check, we won. And I look down there at stop number 1, who's down there? Nobody. So you all wonder why your business looks like this. Oh my God, I'm agent in the, oh my God, I hope Chris Haynes has their lunches. Oh my God, I'm agent in the, oh my gosh, how am I gonna pay my bill? It's this. That was the one thing I had to smash when I figured out that I could not live the life I was living. I could not work 100 hours a week for a month and then work 40 because I had no business, and then 100 hours a week and then 40. Because here's what I can tell you. Number one, you can't budget for it. You cannot budget for that. You can't hire a staff because when I have 100, I need 5 people, and when I have 40, I don't need anybody, right? So I'm paying people in the bad months, I'm paying people in the good months, I can't budget, I don't know what ads to run. The inconsistency crushes our industry. Now, you know the average realtor stays in the market 18 months. So how many of you have been here longer than 18 months? Everybody in the room pretty much. So you're already winning. Now we just have to figure out how to get a 20-year career and a 30-year career. It is the best industry I know of. There is no limit on how much money you can make. There is no limit on how many people you can serve. There is no limit on how many people you can hire. There's no limit. So we have to stop the highs and lows that burn us out. Okay? So how do we do that? This. If you want to stop the inconsistencies in your business, you have to prospect every day. Lead generation is your #1 job. So we're salespeople. We tell everybody, I'm a dang good salesman, but we don't sell. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. I did it for years and years and years because the leads just came. The leads just came. Well, let me share a little painful story for you. The leads didn't just come. When I had to do my profit and loss, the first time when I got in the core, the first month, I was spending over $40,000 a month. Let's do that again, $40,000 a month to just those leads just to come to me. I had 2 interstate billboards. Now this was in 2004. They were $1,500 a month. Who knows what they are now, right? Okay, there you go. She got it. I had 2 of those. I had a moving truck with my face all over it. I had signs at every baseball diamond, every football, high school. I mean, if they asked me, yes, remember at the store started this because I had a check, I bought it. So $40,000 went out before my husband and I made a dime. I had no idea. Had no idea. So the leads weren't just coming. I was paying for them. So as I transitioned out of that mindset of I'll just spend all the money to generate a lead, and I wanted to start attracting people, and all of that went away, I ran a business on $18,000. 4 employees. I didn't work 80 hours a week, and I didn't have billboards anymore. And the business got better, and the profitability went up. My hours went down. There are better ways to do it, but this was the first thing I had to adopt. So now you're like, well, okay, but as she said, who do I call? And what do I say? Everybody get your phone out. Take a picture of this. No more excuses. No more excuses on who to call and what to say. We're going to talk about it today. You're going to go on that left side right over there, and you're going to call those 5 call days. You should never lack leads ever again. Ever again. Because the 2 things I will tell you about the telephone. #1, you can't get a black eye on it. And #2, if you haven't been cussed out in real estate, you haven't lived. So if you call somebody and they cuss you out, next. I mean, nobody's losing a life. I'm not asking you to go knock on a stranger's door. I'm telling you to pick up the phone. All right? So let's talk about what we're going to say when we call these people, and who are these people, and what does that look like? All right? So #1 day is Monday. That's today. That should say VIP group. It does. Top 50 VIPs. So your first homework assignment, after you print your time block schedule and your power hour, you're going to figure out who your VIPs are. Okay? Your VIPs are people in your database that are very important to you, that have the opportunity to refer you multiple times in a year. So you're like, well, who is that? Financial planner, CPA, your lender partner, your builder, your developer, your private banker, the person who cuts your hair, the person who you give lawn service to, your painter contractor. Listen, we hand these people money all day long. Do we not? I need a will. Here's my will and trust attorney. I need somebody to manage my homeowner's insurance. Here's my insurance guy. We're feeding these people leads. So therefore, when you go and say, I need your help, there's a little bit of a reciprocal relationship there. Okay? Now, it's not going to be 1-for-1. So don't everybody call Chris and Clint today and say, I need a lead. We all work our businesses, right? But there are opportunities for them to help you find business and refer you. That's who you're going to call on Monday. You're going to call 12, 13 of your favorite 50 VIPs every Monday. If you call them once a month, you think you'll find some leads from those people? Tuesday, status calls. What's the #1 complaint with people that are surveyed by NAR? No communication. How many of you have taken a listing from somebody else that said they put the sign in the front yard, I never heard from my realtor again? All of us have heard that complaint in our careers, right? They put the sign in the front yard, I never knew what was happening, frustrated, I fired him and now you're here. We've all heard that story. So don't be that person. Proactive versus reactive. You want a business that refers you, start being proactive. Call your client every Tuesday. Now, how many of you were in the business in 8, 9, and 10? So just a few of us. You remember how painful it was to put your sign and say, no showings this week, no showings this week, still no showings this week. Oh, I'm so sorry, we don't have any showings this week. Y'all don't have to make those calls. You're like, oh my gosh, your house sold in 2 minutes, right? We got 40 offers in 2 minutes. We got 10 people that have even seen your house. They want to buy it now. The call is different, okay? There was a time where we just begged for somebody to set a showing. And then if they canceled before you got there, you just wanted to weep. It was awful, right? We're in a different mindset. So there should be no issue for you to call your clients every Tuesday. Now, one of the things that we've talked about today is better expectations. You all talked about distractions. You want people to stop distracting you, then set better expectations. In your listing appointments or your buyer consultations, hopefully you do those. You set expectation. My work hours are 8:30 to 6, by appointment only on the weekend, or however you sell it. And I'm going to call you every Tuesday with an update. Now, if we get an offer before Tuesday, you don't have to wait till Tuesday. Make it a joke. But I'm going to call you every Tuesday with your feedback. Or I'm going to call you every Tuesday with an update from your loan. Right? If we need something between Tuesday and Tuesday, we'll reach out. But if not, just know I'm going to give you an update every Tuesday. This is every client that is in some kind of contract with you. You call them on Tuesday. Versus when they pull up, the client pulls out of the back of the driveway and 15 minutes later, like, what did they say about my house? What did they say about my house? You got any feedback from me? What did they say about my house? You guys get those calls? Right? Better expectations. Okay, so on Tuesday, that's your update call. Current client. Wednesday, yeah, go ahead.
Would you have a transition to ask for referrals during that call,
Yes.
or do you not do that?
So yeah, so the only time we ask for referrals all the time, but I'm always looking for a red flag for an opportunity, because if I'm talking to this client every Tuesday for 3 months, they're gonna get really tired of me asking for a referral. But that feels a little different for me. So what I'm looking for is, oh my gosh, we love our pictures. Like the first week you call a listing and they go, oh my gosh, we love the pictures, online. Go, gosh, we do that for every one of our clients. Do you know anybody else that's gonna want to list? That's a red flag. I would close for a referral. Okay. I can't believe you sold our house this fast. Good. Is there any other neighbors want to sell their house that fast? Close for a referral, right? So I'm looking for those buzzwords to close for referrals versus just every time I call asking for a referral. Does that make sense? Okay. Good question. Wednesday, day 3, hot leads, old leads, hot leads, cold leads, whatever you want to call it. And you're like, well, is there any other kind of leads? Well, there are. Let's talk about a hot lead. Hot lead is all those buyers that you're trying to find a house for right now. Now, why do I want you to call them on Wednesday?
Weekends come.
Yes, weekend's coming. So I'm trying to set up appointments for the weekend. Why else? Possible. How about if you don't call them, somebody else will? Think about that. Listen, they want to buy a house. So they go to church on Sunday and somebody goes, oh, my brother, sister's cousin just got the real estate license. I promise you they'll find you a house. Boom, there goes your client, right? They mosey into an open house on Saturday and then somebody says, hey, you should buy this house. It's the only one I got. You lost your client. If you're not calling them, someone else will take them. Make a system in place where you call them every single week and you set that expectation. When you do the presentation, I'm going to call you every Wednesday. So we find you the house every Wednesday. We're going to have a conversation. So if something changes, you want to amend your search, you want to go a little further out into Lebanon or whatever, we're going to talk about it every Wednesday. What's a good time that I call you on Wednesday? 3 o'clock. Great. Every Wednesday, 3 o'clock in your schedule that should say call Mr. or Mrs. Smith. It's that easy. We just don't set those expectations. Does that make sense? Okay. Your older leads are the ones that are painting, getting those landscaping redone. Again, if you're not calling them every week and they say, it's going to take us 30 days, and you go, okay, and 30 days goes by, and then we forget. To be honest, we're taking care of what's right in front of us. And then day 31, you go out through the neighborhood, and there's another sign in the front yard. You go, well, it ain't yours when you didn't call for 30 days. It's happened to all of us, right? So these are all, I'm just sharing all the things that have happened to me personally, quite honestly. So So that's your Wednesday call. You want to keep those with you all the time, okay? Thursday should be your favorite day. Now, let's be honest. How many of you call everybody in your database every year? One person. I coach him.
And they get to visit.
So here's what happens. We don't want to seem desperate. I said that earlier. Oh, I don't want to call my clients. I seem desperate. I don't want to bug them. They're busy. Is it busy enough to lose $7,000 on every referral? Okay, so let me give you industry standard. We've been tracking this for about the last 10 years in the Corps. So general math, we like you to have between 400 and 450 people in your database. Okay, so if you have 400 or 450 people in your database that know, like, and trust you, we know that out of those 400 people, 15% are going to buy or refer you every year. That's 60 deals. Yep, 400 to 450 people in your database. I'm using 400 for this analogy. We know that 15% of everyone in your database will either move by herself or refer you every year. That's 60 leads. Okay? Now, if you're a great salesperson, you can convert those 60. Let's be honest, warm leads converted about 60 to 70%. We track all of this in the Corps, okay, as a coach and a student. So if that converts at 60 to 70%, you're talking about 40 to 45 deals just from people who know, like, and trust you. Does anybody not need 40 or 45 more deals this year? Okay, just making sure. That's true stack. That's true stack. Okay? Everyone in your database is good for 5 referrals or sales in the lifetime that you know them. 5. Yeah, we don't ask them. We don't look desperate. I don't know if y'all put a kid through college recently. You're desperate, or you're about to. We got him out of MTSU, and now he's at Appalachian State in grad school. No on campus housing, $1,600 a month for an apartment, plus out-of-state tuition, plus you got to feed them. I mean, you do got to feed them. I'm talking about, it is not cheap to put kids through school. So when we say I don't want to look desperate, I'm like, well, you must have bags of money under your bed, because I didn't. I had to get desperate. Your database is the best place to go. These people know, like, and trust you. They want to refer you. You just don't ask. Okay? The best words I can teach you today is, I need your help. I need your help. I need your help. My business starts on referrals. I need your help. I need your help. I'm looking for this property to sell to a client. I need your help. Have a buyer that's approved looking in your neighborhood. I need your help. Does that sound desperate to anybody? If I called you and said, I need your help, would that sound desperate to you? Just a mindset. Get out of that scarcity mindset and get into that abundance. Okay? We have people pulling listings out of their database. They're like, these people said they would never move. I called them and said, hey, I got a buyer in your neighborhood and your value's gone up 35%. And they said, we're moving. They wouldn't have found that client if they didn't make those calls. Okay? So the system to follow on Thursday is you're going to call a letter of the week out of your database. So this week, you're going to print everybody in your database that has a last name that starts with A. And you're going to walk them through a call. Okay? The call we use, the acronym is FORD, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dream. Hey, Dan, just checking on you and your family. How you guys doing? We're great. If you called me, I would say we're great. My dad has dementia. We're downsizing my parents. My son's at App State. You know, we got family all across the country. We're crazy, but we're really good. Are you still working for the Corps? Absolutely. Love my job. No chance of a change? Nope. Not going anywhere. Okay? You guys got any plans for summer? I know a whole year in the pandemic. You got anything fun for recreation plans? 25-year anniversary trip coming up. Oh my gosh, I want to hear about it when you get back. Is there anything I can help you with? Nope. Okay, well, I need your help. You probably heard real estate all-time low in inventory and looking for some listings to sell to some approved buyers. If you come across somebody, can I count on you to send them to me? Absolutely. Great. I'll check in about 6 months. Have a great day. I'm always here to support you. If I called any of you and had that conversation with anybody, be offended? D is dreams. Got any work going on in your house? Got any changes coming? Just dreaming, right? If I called any of you in this room, would you be offended if we had that conversation? Call them twice a year. Guess what'll happen to your lead count? Go up. That's your Thursday call. Next week you call the Bs. The next week you call the Cs. You update your notes in your CRM. The next time I call you, and I'm pretending you're with me, and I say, oh my gosh, tell me about the trip to St. Lucia. I'm dying to hear. Should I put it on my dream list? Should it be on my vision board? What do you think I want to weave that back in? Why do you think I do that? They were heard. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. I listened to you. That was a dream. You had to go there. I want to know how it worked out. And they're like, gosh, you remember that? That was 6 months ago. How'd you remember that? They don't care how much I know about real estate until they know how much I care about them. It's relationship. It's really just a relationship-based business. That's all it is. Okay. And then Friday, cold calling. Now, disclaimer. I've never cold called a day in my life. Ever. Ugh, that makes me want to vomit. Does anybody love to cold call in here? Anybody? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay, I was going to pray for you. All right. Nobody should cold call. It is the worst thing ever. Okay. So to avoid cold calling, I spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. How did I close every one of those calls? I need your help. Who do you not need to buy or sell? Do you know anybody needs to buy or sell? Do you know anybody needs my help? I'm looking for a client just like you, right? So all week long, I tracked all those referrals. Guess who I call on Friday? All those referrals. So I don't have to cold call somebody. So a cold call is, hey, I want to pick your brain. I hate those. Don't pick my brain. I don't have any brain power left. I'm exhausted. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a coach. I'm a this, right? I'm a realtor. I do all these things. I don't have any mindset left. But when I call and say, hey, Joy, Chris Haynes referred us. We have a mutual friend. And Chris, do you have a minute? She's going to go, oh, I love Chris Haynes. Absolutely. Guess what? It's not cold calling anymore. Okay? Use the triangle for trust. Triangle for trust is I know Chris and Joy knows Chris. And if I want to close that triangle, I'm going to bridge us all together. That's how you avoid cold calling. Okay? So I said to Joy, she knows Chris. I know Chris, and I asked her, how does she know it? She says, oh my gosh, he's my preferred lender. Fantastic. Well, let me tell you why I'm calling. Then I can go into my stuff. Hey, I'm looking for a financial planner to partner with, or I'm looking for a builder to build a pre-sale for me, or whatever. I need an insurance agent. Okay? I'm going to close that triangle. The truth of the matter is, if she trusts him and I trust him, don't you think we can figure out a way to work together? Versus me cold calling and saying, hey, I'm a local realtor. I just want to pick your brain. They don't know me from Adam. It's going to be hard to get that call. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand what that Friday looks like? Now, if you just love to cold call and you're just afraid to raise your hand and knock yourself out, you can cold call all day long. But that's not my bag of tricks. It never has been. In 2016 was my biggest year over in real estate. We sold 363 houses in 365 days, 95 million, and I've never cold called a day in my life. So you don't have to cold call. Okay. So I know there are a lot of companies out there that go, oh, you got to buy leads. I've never bought leads either. If you go to Zillow, somebody told me I got a couple of reviews on it. I don't know how the heck they got there. I don't care. But I never paid Zillow a dime. I'm not going to. I never have. I was just knew from day one that was not going to be a good deal for me. Okay. So we don't buy leads. We build relationships. All right. Out of those 50 VIPs in 2016, 187 of our 363 deals came from those 50 people. Now, I had two builders. I had D.R. Horton as a builder, and I had Scott Butler and Smyrna as a builder. So I did have two big leverage accounts, but everything else came from people referring us or working with us. So you need to understand, if you don't do anything, do Monday and Thursday. It will forever change your business, unless you just like cold call. All right? Now, does anybody have any excuses why they're not going to do a power hour the rest of their life? Anybody need any more help? Script? Who to call, what to say? Yes.
When you time block, you're not just doing lead generating for an hour.
2 hours.
Okay.
I do an hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon. Yeah. A lot of people just need to start with 1 hour. Right?
But you stick with that 2 hours, not like the 20 contacts from my Keller thing.
I just do an hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon. My goal is to have 10 talk tos every day about real estate. Okay? 10 talk tos. And the cool thing is if I put a call out. If your voicemail is impactful enough, they will call you back. And then you've got your talk to. Okay? All right. Back to time management. All right. So personal daily routine. My husband said this morning, wow, this weekend went by so fast. He was sitting in the recliner, I was sitting on the chair, we're getting ready to leave, and I said, I'm ready to go home. I miss my routine. I am a routine junkie. I'm here to tell you. I live and die by a calendar. That's just who we are and how we are. We work out on the same days. We go to the same places. We do the same things. And some people might say that's really boring, but I say it's consistency. I don't have to worry about what I'm eating or where I'm going or whatever. So daily personal routine is critical. If that's work out 3 days a week, walk 3 days a week, meditate, whatever you do, it's very important. Because I'm going to tell you this. If you aren't at your best, how can you be anything for anybody else, right? And as realtors, guys, we burn the candle at both ends. We work too many hours. We're, I say, deep fried, French fried, and burned out. And then we want to go say, oh, can you give me your biggest asset of your lifetime for me to sell? As I'm grouchy and, frazzled and running late, and can't do that. So personal time is critical. I'm a runner. That's something I love. Joy and I were talking about this morning. I also Peloton now. I need a better picture up here about Peloton, but those are my times by myself. Like, I love to get on my bike and ride. I love to go run. I've got to have a goal, to have a routine, really important. So figure out what you like. I lead a Bible study. I love being around empowered women. So on Wednesday nights, I lead a Bible study. That's my personal time with my friends and in the Word. And it's just really, really important that you got to have something to do for yourself. And that's these guys. I'm the princess of the house, even a boy dog. This is our son and our dog. Guys, listen, they get what's left of us, which is so not fair. So not fair. You got to make time. We did it when Corey was in Bible study. He would go to church on Wednesday nights. We did our date night every Wednesday when we dropped him off. Now we're empty nesters. We have date night every week. Ha, ha, ha. But the truth of the matter is Thursdays are date night. And you will not catch me staying late. My husband will tell you, I run home, change clothes, and we go somewhere on Thursday night, and it's specifically for us. That is the night that we set aside to be together and have our time together. So if you don't have that time blocked in your schedule, you got to. Personal time, family time. For those of you that have small kids, an hour a week with just one-on-one is critical. We have some really good friends in Charlotte. They have twin daughters that are 5, and then they have a newborn, and one of their twin daughters is really struggling right now because she lost the time with her mom because of the newborn. So this young lady's in my Bible study, and so Greg and I said, you know what, we'll go over and play with the two, and she can each week rotate a date with one of the girls. It's just critical. Your kids need that time. They're going to go through different seasons. We laugh because sometimes Corey's really close to me and tells me everything, and then I have to give it to his dad, or then he'll call Greg and tell Greg everything, and then he'll tell me. So somebody in the family has to have a relationship with your kids. Gosh, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so thankful social media wasn't out there when I was growing up, and the instant cameras and all the distractions and the bullying and the suicide, and it just destroys me. It's so sad. So spend the time with those of you that, with your kids and really pouring it in. It's so important. Time management is also all about accountability. And that's what the core is. We're an accountability coach for our students. We hold them accountable to their dreams and their goals and their aspirations and the things that they want. If you're not in coaching, find a partner in your office. Find a buddy, find a friend, find a spouse, find a partner. Find somebody that you say, hey, I want a power hour these days, and I want to make this happen, and I want to hit these goals. Because it is very hard to achieve things by ourselves. When you have a village, it'll help. All right. Goals. We talk a lot about goals. Daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, right? Usually what happens is we all write a yearly goal down, 2 or 3, and we never revisit them, ever, right? Like, I'll get those in December, and we look in December, like, we didn't hit any of this crap. Like, why didn't you write it down? So I really want to encourage you, if it's calls, if you want to have so many outbound calls, make that a weekly goal. Daily goal, how many calls you want to make, how many listings you want in a month. Have them posted where you review them every single day. If you could see my office in Charlotte, I have a glass top desk in the corner. That's the first thing that I see when I go out of my desk, and the first thing I see when I come in. My goals are under that glass. And I have a weekly goal, a monthly goal, and a yearly goal for different parts of my life, and they're there. They're changed out every week. I read the class, take them, put them back. Something I pay attention to. What you focus on will happen, okay? What will you need? What will you need to make all of this happen? I'm going to give you some tips for tools. Number one is a greatness tracker. It is the form we love to hate the form, right, Justin? We love to hate this form, right? The form is what actually happens in a day, okay? All in 1 week, and I call it the efforts and results form. So you'll see at the top, and you can get a copy of this from Chris or Justin or Clint. They have access to this form. But at the top, we're going to track how many people you see face to face each day and talk about real estate. Okay? The middle of the form is the great conversations. Remember I said I want to have 10 great conversations about real estate. That's where I track my phone calls. You're going to see there's some events you can attend. You can mark those down. Videos you send. Hours prospected. I want to know how many hours I was actually in green time. Now, maybe you're asking, what is green time? It's not just on the phone. It's a belly-to-belly with a listing appointment, a buyer consultation, showing houses to a buyer. It could be lunch with a VIP where you're looking for some referrals. Anything like that that has the opportunity to warrant a lead or a deal for you, that's green. Okay? So my goal is to send green 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. If I can have 4 hours a day in green time, I know I'm going to hit my lead count. Okay? It's when I cheat and I go, oh, I was making hours work. Oh, I'll just go home today. I'm going to feel that. Remember, what you do today will affect your production 60 days down the road. What you do today, if you're on vacation today, 60 days from now, you're going to look back and go, whew, feeling that now. Okay? So remember, what you're doing today affects 60 days out. And then at the bottom, we track the leads and the deals. How many leads did I actually generate for the week? And how many deals did I actually close? These are your goals that you're going to set for yourself and then hold yourself accountable to do it. This is results, efforts and results form. Okay? Next, you're going to need printed call list. Printed call list. The whole reason that the inconsistency with your power hour happens, we don't know who to call, we don't know what to say. Remember? So now we've taken away who to call. Now, the best thing I can tell you is print your call list and make your notes on there, and then set time aside to go back in and put your notes in the CRM, whatever you use, Sugar, Salesforce, Follow-Up Boss, Top Producer, whatever. But you can print your call list, because if you're like me, it's like, oh, an email came in. Oh, my phone rang. Oh, I'm like, squirrel, right? And so if I print the list and I turn my phone on silent, I can bang those calls out, put my notes on there, and then go back in and put them in the CRM when I have a few minutes to do it. But if I'm in the CRM and my email's going off, I'm like, woo, right? So if you're like me, print your call list every day. The other cool thing about it is you guys drive a long way. This town is so spread out. I remember just going from Murfreesboro to Brentwood, back to Smyrna, and back to Nashville. I mean, I could drive 300 miles in a day. Have your call list in the car. If you can't literally sit behind your desk and pound those phones for an hour, you've got Bluetooth, make 2 or 3 calls in the while you're on your way somewhere. You can get the calls in if you choose to make them. Yes.
I loved how you used to call that windshield time.
Yep, it is. It's windshield time. When you're in your car, it's windshield time. You can make a lot of calls from the windshield. Okay? All right, printed schedule. Oh, I told you I used a big copy of mine. This is actually my Monday schedule right here. If I were in the office, this is what it would look like. For my department meeting, no offense, and I'm going to get a lot of nastiness about this, but I'm not a UT fan. So the orange is the stuff I don't like to do. True story. So we're Kentucky fans. So, but yeah, so the yellow are my calls. You can see the calls. I don't have any with course when I'm speaking of everything about the course with my coaching days with. But the orange stuff are meetings. I don't like meetings. I'm just not a good meeting person. But you can see I shoot all my videos once a week on Monday. I have a 30-minute slot and have a whole list of all videos that I shoot for the whole week. All the birthday videos I shoot, all the anniversaries. I just do it once a week instead of having to sit down and just cut one every day. That's time suck, right? So on Monday, I get a list of all the videos that I need to cut for the week. I do that. You'll see, check email, check voicemail, get ready for your day. You see that? Write in the gratitude journal. That's that purple time. It's my time. Remember I told you purple's my color? This says drinks with Katie Siegel for her birthday. That was her personal time, right? So it's already on my schedule. That's literally last Monday on my schedule. All right. Any questions about that? You see it's a game for me. Got to make it again if I'm going to get it all done. You need a printed schedule. Have your goals posted. I talked about that. They're on my desk. Take the time, 15 minutes in that morning slot. Write down what you want to accomplish this week. Okay, I want to get the Smith under contract. I want to get the, the Casey's house listed. Whatever your goals are, make sure that you're printing them somewhere. It's too easy for us to fall down on our goals when we don't write them. Perfect time block schedule. I told you guys earlier, I'd show you a sample of this. You see the power hours on there, your appointments are on here, lunch appointments. And then if it's already blocked like this and somebody calls and says, hey, I want to list my house at, 5 o'clock on Friday, that time slot's all open. You just slide their information in there. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So that's a sample. We can get you a copy of that too if you want to play with it. This is where you start. You get a blank one, you fill in what you want to do. You drop your kids off at school at 8:30, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that should be on your schedule. It'll work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, that should be on your schedule. Okay? That's the tool that you will need. Okay, that's a lot of information. So I'm going to pause for a second, let you guys look at your notes. Make a couple notes of things you will do for sure before we open it for Q&A. Anything that you will do for sure, where you're really, really struggling. If you do not put a plan of action together, nothing will happen. It just won't happen. You've got the time allotted to work on your business right now. I want to commend you for that you give up some time in your business today to come and get better. If you want some tactics on how to fix something, I'm happy to talk about that during the Q&A too. And then I want you to put a name out beside it. Who's going to hold you accountable to make that thing happen, whatever that thing is. You want to take a picture of this slide, knock yourself out? Okay. Anybody need any more time? Yeah, go ahead. All right, the one thing I want to tell you is you are not just a realtor. Okay, I can get on a really big soapbox about this. I love our industry. I am super passionate about it. I don't need a license for what I do anymore. I still refer a ton of business and get some residual income. But the most important thing to me is that we all understand that we have a very important role in people's home ownership and what they do and where they go and where they buy. And, it really frustrates me when I talk to somebody and they go, I'm just a realtor. I'm like, no, you're not. You're a small business owner, you run a profitable business or you wouldn't do it. If you're not making money, why would you do it, right? You're changing lives, you're impacting people's income, you're putting their houses in a safe place, or putting their families in a safe house, safe place. So remember, in all of this, you're a small business owner, okay? It's Kendra Cooke Inc., it's Joy Sherrill Inc., it's whoever you are Inc., but you run an industry. And our industry is only as good as the people in it. So the next time you're texting somebody, another realtor at 10:30 at night, stop it. I can't get to Steve Jobs, or I couldn't get to Steve Jobs, or I couldn't get to anybody else that runs a huge, Elon, or I couldn't get to them at 11 o'clock at night. We're selling houses, we're not saving lives. We need to play nicer with each other, right? Be respectful of each other's time. And we don't control the transaction. As much as we want to empower ourselves to think we're really important, it's not us. We don't have a dog in that hunt. Right? We're the mediator, we're the facilitator, we can bring those parties together, but we're not in charge. I had somebody ask me the other day on a webinar, well, how do you advise your seller on which offer to take? I'm like, I don't tell them which offer to take. I give them all the facts, and at the end of the day, it's their decision. So when the realtor gets mad at you, just know it ain't about you, right? And the more of us that work cooperatively together and we empower each other to be professionals, our industry will continue to rise. The thing that irritates the crap out of me is they're like, realtors are like car salesmen. I'm like, no, we're not. No, we're not. Not that there's anything against them, but totally different, right? So we need to be nicer to each other so you're not just a realtor. So hopefully you took some things away today that will empower you to run your business like a business and to play nice with each other and to get some time back in your schedule, okay? The last thing I'll tell you, I'm gonna open up for Q&A, is my favorite slide is if you've not done this recently, write down 100 things you're grateful for. It will forever change your life. You will be thanking God for the grass and the stars, because it's hard to come up with 100 things, but it's really hard to have a bad day when you are so blessed to have 100 things that you're grateful for in your life. All right, I'm gonna open up for Q&A. That's all I have for you guys today so far. Who has a question for me? Okay. Either I did a really good job or you guys are all asleep. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I always have questions. So one of the things that you shared with me long ago, and I'm still not any better at it, is how to make that apology call when you haven't stayed in touch.
Oh, it's a
I
great call.
love your apology letter. I still have a copy of it.
Okay.
Anything new or still to
Yeah,
put that
so
into words?
Okay.
And I haven't called those 18 years one client.
that's a great point. So her question was, she has a database of people that she hasn't stayed in contact with over the last 18 years, right?
I've done business.
But yes,
Yeah.
bought or sold a house with her, and then she didn't follow up, which is the number one thing that we're really stinky at, is follow up, because we're on to the next deal that's right in front of us, and we don't have the systems or tools or the team to take care of all those people, right? So the easiest thing, if you're going to start from scratch and you're going to print your A's today, and work on them on Thursday, that call is an apology call to get started, okay? And that just looks like, hey, do you have a second, Joy? We did a deal 10 years ago or more, and I've done a really poor job of staying in touch with you, and I'm so sorry. Like, do you have a few minutes we can catch up? And listen, everybody just wants to be heard. So they're gonna be like, oh, no problem, Joy, we're still in our house, you're great. And then you can go into that forward call. It just starts with apology. Hey, I failed. I said I was gonna stay in touch with you, because what do we all say? I'm gonna be a realtor for life, but I don't wanna call you anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And so you got to go back and open that door. The best thing is once you do the apology call, then you can send what we call a letter of the heart, and the title of it is Card Carrying Fan. And I just say, hey, in my last 30 years of being a realtor, I haven't done a good job of staying in touch. I want to fix that. So moving forward, I'm going to stay in communication with you. I hope you're following me on social media. But included in this letter are 2 cards. One for you when you get ready to purchase or sell, and one for your first referral that you can help me build my business with. You send them to your business card. And that's the form letter that you can send to reconnect. And even if you leave voicemails, you can still send that letter, right? Leave the voicemail, hey, I'm so sorry, I dropped the ball, I'm staying in good communication. But moving forward, I'm going to stay in touch. I'm going to send you something in the mail to reconnect. Now, listen, there's going to be people when you call them, they're going to be like, I was from that house 5 years ago. And you're going to be like, oh, I just want to throw that, right?
Kendra so bad.
But what you're going to do is clean it up, right? You gotta clean it up and go backwards to go forward. If you have not been making those calls, start somewhere. So start cleaning up the database. I know that I was telling Chris earlier, we are at the core switching from Sugar, which you saw the call sheet, over to Salesforce. We have 30,000 people in the database, and half of our notes didn't transfer with the merge. Oh, it's a mess. So trying to go back through all of our old emails, like were they at level 1? Were they at level 3? It's just crazy. So you got to start somewhere. So print your A's, go through. You're going to go through and go, oh my gosh, that client was a pain in the butt. I don't even know why they're still on my list. Delete them. Like if you get anxiety about calling somebody that you had a bad deal with, get them on your list, right? It's really easy. And if you don't have a CRM, start with Outlook. It's on your computer, right? Very easy to put your notes in Outlook as you have those conversations. And then Outlook does merge with pretty much any CRM if at some point in time you want to add follow-up boss or top producer or whatever. It's really easy to merge those. But you've got to start cleaning up that information and get on the phone. Because a lot of us are paying so much money to generate leads when we have so much gold sitting in our phone, right? If you're new and you're sitting here, a lot of you weren't here 10 years ago, starts with your phone. Your database is your phone. All those people in your phone is now your database. So get them into Outlook. Make sure you got email, address, phone numbers. The third thing that I would tell you is place of business. Where do they work? And you're going, why do I care? Let me tell you. That's leverage. So if, let's say Joy's my realtor and I work at the core training, I have 50 employees. The average age of my employees is 27. What are they all doing right now? Buying houses. They're all buying houses. They're all getting engaged. One of my sales guys got engaged on Saturday. He's been texting me all weekend. So those kids are all buying. So if Joy knew I worked at the core and I had 50 employees, why wouldn't she buy box lunches and say, hey, can I come in and do a first-time homebuyer seminar for your employees on lunch hour? Come on. Let's get off my tail, right? If my employees are indebted with a house payment, aren't they more loyal to stay with me longer?
By the way, if you do that, we have a presentation that we can help you.
There you
We'll have
go.
a Presentation together, we can help you.
Bring Chris and his group with you and let them help
Yeah,
teach it.
we'll help pay for lunch.
I'll pay for lunch and teach it. I mean, it's a game changer when you know where your clients work, right? Again, those are people that you don't have in your database, but because you have the relationship with the owner, you're able to get in there and do those presentations, right? Does that make sense? So when you really stop and think about where's my next deal going to come from, you don't need to spend money on a moving truck or a billboard or a pharmacy bag or whatever. Go to your database. Use the people that already know, like, and trust you. Great question. Yes, sir.
How often and how do you communicate with that?
Moved out of state. They just get my e-newsletter. So, and the newsletter is usually all about referrals. So whether you're moving across the country, I'm part of a networking, coaching company. I have students all over the country. I'm happy to refer you. So let me know if you're going somewhere. I'll make sure you get a top-notch realtor. And so you can just do a drip campaign. You could also just cut them up with video and send it out. Video is the way to go. How many of you are not using video right now? I hate them. Okay. I cut I think 14,000 people receive my videos a week. Gross. But how am I going to reach 14,000 people, right? I can't stuff 14,000 envelopes and that kind of thing because of the core people that I'm recruiting for coaching. So here's the key to videos. Don't watch them. Just cut them and send them. Don't watch them. I mean, if you, it's so bad. My husband will tell you, he watches, I do a conversation with Kendra. If you don't follow the core training on Facebook, you should. I have a podcast called Conversation with Kendra, and I interview an inspirational person every month. And I've got a U.S. Olympian on there. I've got the lady who was on the Sully plane that landed in the Hudson. I mean, it's just so great. They're 20-minute, just really inspiring people. But I do that, and he'll tell me if I do good or not. So I'm like, I just can't watch it. It just grosses me out. But if you can get in the habit of cutting videos, I use BombBomb, $549 a year. You can send unlimited, and they have templates. So they have the birthday template. So you cut your video and you select the birthday template, and it goes. You can do your logo. I mean, you can pick as many as you want, and you can send as many as you want. It also has a calendar feature. So when I told you guys I cut all my videos on Monday, they are logged on my calendar for, it's a birthday on Thursday. I cut it on Monday, but it goes on the calendar for Thursday and it automatically goes. So if you don't have an assistant, you can manage your own video account really easy on BombBomb. So videos are the way to go, unfortunately. But you could say, hey, I don't know what company you're with or anything, but hey, I've got affiliates all around the country. I can refer you, or if you're coming back to Middle Tennessee, here's a market update, however you want to use it. But snail mail, it's kind of weird. We talk about in the core, you have to meet the client where they are, not where we are, right? So I don't like video, but the average realtor age has come down a lot over the last 10, 15 years. So they are more inclined to watch a video than they are to get a postcard from me. Does that make sense? So we talk about in the core, meet the client where they are. So we do mail, call, visit, video. So you got to hit them where they are. So your database, they should get something in the snail mail, because you'll get a generation that does like the mail. You got to do the calls, which are the Thursday calls, so you can reach them. The videos will get the younger population that like the video, that don't want to read the snail mail. So you just got to hit them where they are. So that's why we use all different tools to reach everybody in our database. Does that make sense? Good question. Anybody else? All right, well, I need to thank the two gentlemen that brought me here. So Chris Haynes, obviously, was my preferred lender. I still get him refis, and people call me and say, hey, should I refi my house? He's my guy, super godly, wonderful father, man, business person, adore him, one of my dearest friends here in Middle Tennessee. So Chris and Justin Tucker in the back, who's one of my students, who's at Platinum Realty in Hendersonville, sorry. He's one of our students. So these guys, I always tell people I'm not cheap, and they paid for me to come today. So thank you both for honoring me and allowing me to be here. Thank you guys. I'll stick around. If you have questions, come see me. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome, guys. So who got some knowledge? Knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is
Power.
Everybody says it's power, right? I don't want to correct you, but is knowledge really power? Is there a lot of things we know that we don't execute on? So execution trumps knowledge every single time. So everybody has at least 3 things they're going to work on, right? If not a ton. So the main thing is to make sure you execute on it. Kendra talked about get a accountability partner. The best accountability partner is a coach. Kendra is a coach, the core, I was in the core for 8.5 years. I was coaching the core for 4.5 years. It'll change your business, change your life if you want to go down that route. If you don't want to do that, get somebody in your office, get a mentor, get somebody that is further down the road that you want to be on, because they can help you avoid the potholes. If they've traveled that road, they're like, oh, you don't want to do that. That's a waste of time and money. Do it this way. And Justin, I'll give a plug to Justin. Justin, how long have you been in coaching? 4.5 years. 4.5 years. Do you care to share your numbers from last year? Production? What embarrassing.
Restart. I don't restart.
I was broke when I started. When I started, about 27, 28 deals. Last year, we closed over 129 deals.
129 deals. Yep. And that's his personal team. So he practices everything Kendra talks about. So if you want a great, he's a broker, he owns his own real estate company. If you want a great person to talk to Justin. He'll be happy to have lunch with you. He'll share for free. But if you are looking for a place to go that you can have that mentorship in the office, talk to Justin. Not only that, he's a good guy and he can catch a fish. So thank you, Justin, for that. Guys, we want to, we do pay for Kendra to be here. We want to deliver to you guys. There's people online. I don't know if I'm on camera or not, but
You are.
oh, cool. So everybody that is online and here, we appreciate it. We want to deliver for you guys. And the way we make money is just by helping you do your loans. So whether it's me or Clint or anybody in our office, any loan officer, we appreciate the business. And I'll tell you this, our favorite lead is somebody who's already been pre-approved with another bank. A lot of realtors are like, oh, they're already pre-approved with a big bank. I'm not going to mess with that. Who likes dealing with a 1-800 number when there's a problem? Right? So there's Quicken Loans, not going to pick on Quicken Loans, but do they close loans? They do, right? If everything goes smooth, it might close. You've got people over here laughing, maybe they don't close it for her. But if there's a problem, what do?
Wait.
You wait. And they won't talk to you. You're not their client. Who are you? It's a 1-800 number, right? So that's the big difference, is having somebody local that you can depend on to get things done. So if you have somebody that's been pre-approved with another bank, we would love that opportunity to give them a second opinion, and they can choose to go with us or not. I would say 80% of the time, if they talk to us, we get them pre-approved, they're going to choose to go with us. Not 100%, but a lot of times they do. And we'll take that headache of, I don't have anybody to call, and that appraisal comes in short. We'll take that away, that headache away. So if you guys want to grab your phone and would like to text your loan officer is here maybe so you can't call them, but we'd love to have the opportunity to help anybody out that would be pre-approved.